Don't be like that. I still need at least 2 more customers today. Don't be like that. I still need at least 2 more customers today.
Say for feck's sake. You should put your money pouch in your shirt. No need to make it easy for the cartel. Good to see you, lad. Thanks again for the thorned rose. By Mother Parain, you made the right decision. I've another assignment for you. Are you interested?
Then tell me about this assignment.
It's about a man named Fyodor Brigante, a mage who settled down here. He's under house arrest, heresy. He's to be transferred to the guard's headquarters now, with an escort.
Why do you want to move the heretic? Does this have anything to do with Perel's declaration of war?
Right. Fyodor is no longer safe at home. The Kreutzer cartel could strike at any moment. We have to be prepared.
Why would the cartel be interested in a heretical mage?
Fyodor has a vast knowledge of witchcraft, demons, constellations, disease. He's an expert in these things and talks about them constantly. In the hands of the cartel, his knowledge could be quite dangerous. That's why we need to get him to safety. And, of course, it pays well.
Volk of Aravor appears to be involved in Tiakranor's machinations. Do you have any idea what's behind it?
Can you prove it, lad? You can get yourself into a mess of trouble if not.
It's the truth. Tiakranor himself even confirmed it.
I believe you can, but I'm probably the only one. No Rondrian would ever get involved with a necromancer. That'd be treason. And even if you do have evidence, you'll need power and a good reputation in the city. Otherwise, you'll never get the chance to submit it to the Metropolitan.
I don't even have citizenship. So my sister is sold off to the most powerful man in town, who betrays his own order, and I can't even prove it.
A marriage without love. That's bad. Someone has to do something.
What do you mean?
The folk of Arivor may be calling the shots for the Rondrians at the moment, but Sumadan of Bregelsalm is still the Margrave of Warrock. If I were to put in a good word for you, your family could get their citizenship this way too.
You'd do that for me, Sergeant?
Why not? If you don't disappoint me, well, lad, then you can count on me.
Tell me about the heretic.
He climbed up on a barrel in the market and started talking rather incoherently about the gods. Free thinking, you can be hanged for that. My lads were fast enough and got to him before the Rondrians. All he got from me was 3 weeks of house arrest.
Then you didn't consider the heresy all that bad?
You know, lad, people talk a lot of nonsense, but they never admit it. Oh no, I prefer it when someone opens their mouth and gets themselves caught. Fyodor didn't preach demon worship or anything of the like, and if I can annoy the Rondrians, I'm twice as happy to save his life. I also have a feeling that his knowledge could soon be very useful, but maybe I'm wrong there.
Aren't the Rondrians responsible for dealing with heresy?
They are. They believe that free thought is a major cause of people pacting with demons. That's why they're really cracking down at the moment. I don't tend to see it so strictly myself, but if someone disturbs the public peace, the guard has to step in. That's still better than having people accuse their neighbours of heresy just because they can't stand one another. Because that's what the Rondrians' crackdown will lead to, even if that isn't their goal.
Then tell me about this assignment.
It's about a man named Fyodor Brigante, a mage who settled down here. He's under house arrest, heresy. He's to be transferred to the guard's headquarters now, with an escort.
Why do you want to move the heretic?
Right.
Why would the cartel be...
Fyodor!
I think I deserve a somewhat more personal reward. I mean, consider the circumstances.
Maybe you're right, lad. You shall have your reward, but woe betide you if you double-cross me. Got that?
Of course, Sergeant. All right, I'll escort the heretic.
Very good. Then go to Kreutzer Alley. There you'll find Fyodor. Bring him safely through Kreutzer Alley. My people will be waiting at the other end. Once Fyodor is safe here with me, I'll get you your citizenship. See, I don't like it when my people have to beg the Rondrians for passes.
Yes, Sergeant.
One more thing, lad. You seem familiar somehow. Have we ever met before?
Not that I know.
Strange. Very strange.
I wouldn't wander around here like that if I were you, but it's your life.
Don't be like that. I still need at least 2 more customers today.
What are you looking for around here? Punching in?
Now, if it isn't the strapping lad from the refuge...
Fyodor?
The proper salutation is Learned Scholar Mr. Brigante, or at least Lord Magus. Who are you anyway?
The house arrest is over. For safety's sake, I'm to bring your skull to City Guard headquarters. Learned Scholar Mr. Magus.
An escort? It seems to me that this is more of an arbitrary intrusion of state authority upon my privacy. I protest! I do not need a murderer to escort me. You will have to bring me to Sergeant Fergalosh the same way I entered house arrest, voluntarily.
I am here to protect you, Magus. Things in Kreutzer Alley will soon be much rougher than they are now. The truce between the Guard and cartel has been broken.
Sergeant Fergalosh is a bully, and you are the personification of roughness. Being a prisoner of the cartel would be an equivalent state.
Is that what you want, then?
Well, in truth, I'm still undecided, as it were.
Might I learn a little more about you, Magus?
Magus probatus sum. I am Fyodor Briganti, Adeptus Major member of the Great Grey Guild of the Spirit, a graduate of the School of Spiritual Travel in Belhanka.
So only a heretic, and not a necromancer.
Are you trying to insult me? There are significant differences between an educated grey mage and a simple necromancer. Necromancers! Better yet, those who pact with demons. People like that just toss their souls into the same cesspit that is home to the demonic TGT. My soul belongs to me alone and nobody else. And if there were more public education, more people would come to this simple conclusion. By the way, if you were better educated, you would never have asked this question in the first place, my good man.
I have a question about a magical phenomenon. Maybe you could help me.
Of course. Nandus is with the Inquisitive.
I've never had a hint of magic in me all my life, and now suddenly something has awakened within me.
Intuitive, elemental, or demonic? I mean, maybe you're possessed.
It had something to do with the mixing of blood. It feels like I were using other people's life force to do magic.
Borberadian? And you claim you knew nothing about it? Don't act like a fool, man.
I'm not a Borberadian. I never learned to use blood to do magic. It just happened.
Look, this is completely implausible. Borberadian magic requires years of practice and a sound education. This gift can't have just come to you out of the blue. It could have come from the nether hells, but that would have required truly potent demonic activity.
It wasn't like that. I never sold my soul.
Very reasonable.
Can't you help me at all?
You seem to have a very powerful patron who is not too particular in his morality. He will likely know more. Or the outbreak of the gift was an accident. Then you just have to live with that power and hope that you die before anyone can claim your soul in return.
What do you think about the Kreutzer Cartel's goals?
Well, one cannot really call them goals. The Kreutzer Cartel is a loose alliance of cutthroats and chicken thieves. Basically, the cartel is nothing more than an ordinary neighborhood. Well, ordinary for a city where for decades one could not be certain as to whether the ruler had again sent a bad dream or his own brother-in-law really turned to dust at the touch of sunlight. Without the urbane Mr. Parel Notgelf, these people would be a godsend for any kind of soul-catchers, demon-worshippers, priests, and gods know what else. Even if Parel wears the mantle of the free spirit like a feathered headdress, his aspirations are purely material. Basically, the cartel is not a good environment for a reputable scientist. On the other hand, it is sometimes quite useful to know the smugglers.
What do you think of Fergalosh and his people?
Fergalosh believes he represents law and order here. He competes with the Rondrians, which is logical considering the fact that he is paid by the Margrave. He considers me a troublemaker, and therefore wants me behind bars. It took a lot of convincing to barter him down to a house arrest. You said the truce is broken? Then it is logical that Fergalosh wants to have me brought in. He is afraid of my potential. But a free spirit cannot be constrained by any walls. You can be certain of that. Oh, for a free spirit there are no walls at all. Ergo, to me it does not matter one whit whether I'm at home or in the guard's headquarters.
Do you know the Rondrian folk of Arivor? Can you tell me anything about him?
Folk of Arivor? That's right, one of the Rondrians. I'd completely forgotten him. He is also far too worldly, far too libertarian.
You think he is a libertarian?
Infinitely libertarian. Infinitely. Unbelievable. He who knows no boundaries would simply burst. That alone makes him dangerous. Ha! And someone like that is the Metropolitan's deputy. while serious scientists are called heretics.
What heresies has he spread?
We once had a philosophical dispute. That in itself is remarkable for a Rondrian. What really frightened me was his detailed knowledge of blood magic and demonology. I would have expected a Borberadian to possess that knowledge, but not a priest of the goddess of war. Do not misunderstand me. Borberad was a demigod, and many of his teachings breathed the spirit of freedom, but ultimately his arrogance brought him and his disciples to fall. Interesting. The hubris dialogue is a transcendental problem, the dilemma of master and servant potentiated within arcane karmic interdependency. Conclusion, the man is suspicious. Do you have other questions?
Just come with me, Magus.
I do that which my will commands.
Come on, get me and my sister together. It's already cold, Don't be like that. I still need at least 2 more customers today. Don't be like that. I still need at least 2 more customers today. Looking for a little fun.
You should put your money pouch in your shirts. No need to make it easy for the cartel. Back there in the alley, that shadow. And
There you are. Excellent.
window.
It was far
There,
too easy.
in the bushes.
Yes, well, lovely.
Keep your eyes
Come, Lord
open.
Magus. We'll soon have you safe.
Safe. Security and law and order. I like this naive little sergeant.
Well then, lead me away.
Young man, I'll see you soon. Maybe I'll even drop by for a visit.
Yes. Take care, Magus.
And give Fergalosh my regards when you collect your reward.
Kangrusha, good job, lads. My thanks. I do not want to promise too much, but the next assignment could be pretty profitable, and it concerns the whole city.
I'm listening.
The Kreutzer cartel is planning a revolt. They want to storm the armory.
Storm the arsenal. Why?
They want to eat up all the provisions, steal building material, and weapons. Even if they are poor bastards, I cannot let that happen. We need every man to defend the arsenal.
Is the armory really that badly fortified?
Unfortunately, yes. It's just a simple, half-timbered house in the east town, hard to defend. I recommended using the old Rondra temple for an armory from the beginning, but folk of Arivor prevented it. Just granite the rotter. So, lad, here's your chance to prove yourself. Will you fight for law and order, or not?
Why don't you give the hungry enough to eat?
And give in to the Kreutzer cartel's intrigues? Never! We can't condone anyone breaking the law. If the starving mob storms the armory today, they'll be standing in front of the Prince's palace tomorrow. I won't allow Warwick to sink into chaos just because a couple of hungry people can't wait for their rations. We would like to distribute even more food. The Rondrians would too. But the refugees from the surrounding areas are literally eating the beards off our faces. Cursed soil produces little wheat. All the food must be brought from the coast, and we can't keep distributing it fast enough. Oh, if Fargosh were but here, he could help us.
Who's Fargosh?
Fargosh was my brother. I lost him. Let's talk about something else.
What about the Rondrians? Will they be involved in the fight?
No, I'm not letting any twisted lion worshipper stick his nose into my business. This is a matter for the Guard. To be precise, a matter for the Guard and the Kreutzer cartel. If they want to challenge us, good. We can determine the balance of power once and for all at the arsenal.
In the end, the Rondrians will find out anyway. Wouldn't it make more sense to work with them?
This is going to be a dirty fight. They'll be happy they can stay out of it. In addition, it's bad enough that the Rondrians control the west and upper city. The east city must remain Guard territory. And even if they are insulted, I'm sure the prisoners know something about the sword the Rondrians lost.
You want to take prisoners, Sergeant?
We're certainly not going to kill half the city. After all, I wouldn't want to be inhuman. You ken my drift.
Why did Folk of Arivor prevent the old Rondra temple from being used as an armory?
I dunno exactly ken. Guess it's just greedy and wants the Church of Rondra to have two temples. The new one in the upper town and the old one down here. As I said, the old Rondra temple would at any rate have been more spacious and would have been much better suited than the arsenal. Now that I think about it, Folk bears a certain responsibility for the rebellion.
That's strange. Why does he want to keep a temple that used to be a brothel called Rondra's Tits? Especially when a new one is being built in the upper city.
No one can be certain that the temple was really desecrated. Many Warunkians would be pleased if the Rondrians were to reopen it. I mean, yes, many are of the opinion that the whole occupation thing should finally be put to rest. No wonder, seeing as how they all used to fix their scales anyways.
Well, that would fit everything I know about him so far. He doesn't really take the honor part too seriously.
Drax Radosho, he's dividing the Rondrians. That means even more trouble. Hopefully Metropolitan Yakon will return soon.
Just to make certain, what exactly is the assignment? I don't need any more information, Sergeant.
One more thing, lad. If you help us, you'll become a member of the Guard. You don't have to wear a uniform or aught, but after that, you're one of us.
You're going to not only make me a citizen, but a guard as well? Then the Kreutzer cartel will do anything they can to harm me.
Law and order. That's Warunk in a nutshell. Anyone who doesn't like it doesn't belong here.
I'll do it. I want to belong to the Guard.
Excellent. Then we'll meet at the armory in the East City.